From the 5 to the 3 to the 1, beautiful people. That's not the chord progression that we're working with today. But what if I told you that there's 5 different ways you can flip the exact same 3 chords using a variation of just 1 chord progression? Well, did I pique your interest? That's good, because you're about to find out. Let's go. So in this video, I want to talk to y'all about the 1-4-5 chord progression. It's a chord progression that's a staple whenever I want to make R&B, and y'all should be put onto it as well. And that 1-4-5 chord progression, I'm certain y'all know it because it sounds a little bit like this. Now, I did say that you're probably familiar with that 1-4-5 chord progression, and that's because it's the chord progression that's used in You Remind Me by Usher. But it's also the chord progression used in What You're Trying to Do by Jagged Edge. And it's also the chord progression used in 7 Days by Craig David. Now bear with me, this one's going to be a little rough since I only just started practicing the lick. So the 1-4-5 chord progression in minor is a very popular chord progression, and I'm going to show y'all how you can apply it in your beats. Let's get it. All right, beautiful folks, we're going to do it like this. I recorded a couple of variations of the 1-4-5 chord progression, supplemented them with some piano chords, so I got a couple of demos I want to show and just quickly break down so you can get an idea of the versatility of the 1-4-5 chord progression. Let's start with the first one. All right, beautiful people. So 1-4-5 or variations thereof. So what we got here is a 1, our E minor 7 chord, which I'm going to invert. We got our 5, a B minor 7 chord in its first inversion, and we've got our 4, which is A minor 7 chord, and it lands on another B minor 7 chord, only an octave lower. So it goes 1, 5, 4, 5, and I like it because ending on a 5 kind of gives the feeling of it being unresolved. So that's why it continues here, 1, 5, 4, 5. But if you want to make this phrase a little bit more interesting, which we're going to do, we can just start playing this little diminished 7 chord right here. Because one thing y'all need to know, if you start a phrase with a minor chord, say an E minor 7 chord, and you want to make your transition back into that more logical or a little more interesting, you can just take a diminished chord that is 1/2 step lower. And that always works because a diminished chord is basically a stack of thirds, and it sounds really dissonant if you play it out of context, but you use it like this and it sounds like kind of like that. You can even pitch it up 1, 2, 3 semitones, and you basically get the same effect because it starts here. The top note is now the D sharp that the previous chord started with. So that's the cool thing about diminished chords. But this wasn't about diminished chords. Y'all get an idea of what the 1-4-5 variation sounds like, and now you're going to hear the full beat. So just now, y'all got to experience what it sounds like if we do something smooth for the 1-4-5 chord progression or variation. Now we're going for a different vibe. So in the key of F minor, we're starting off with our first degree, which is an F minor 9th chord. We're landing on our 4th degree, which is an A sharp minor 9th chord. And to offset the entire minor vibe, we are rocking with a C sharp major 9th chord. A 6th degree in a minor scale always leads to a major chord, no matter how way you put it. So the phrase ends on our 5th degree, which is our C minor 7th chord. So it basically goes 1, 4, 6, 5. And this is a pretty static chord progression if you look at it. And if you wanted to make more interesting, you know, rock with those diminished chords as passive chords, rock with those dominant 7, flat 9, sharp 9 chords, your augmented chords, whatever. Just let the magic happen. So this is what it sounds like. But we want to hear that baby in context. So this is what it sounds like with a full beat. So y'all got to experience what it sounds if you make a more bouncy beat and you introduce the 6th degree to the 1-4-5 chord progression, or at least the 1-4-5 chords in a minor scale. Now we're going for a different vibe again. Now you look at this, and this one is as vanilla as they come. This is a regular schmegular 1-4-5 in the key of D sharp minor, right? So what you see here is that the D minor 9th chord is actually playing for 2 bars. Then there's 1 bar in which we're playing our 4th degree, and then there's another bar in which we're playing an inverted version of our 5th degree. So it basically goes D minor 9, D sharp minor 9, G sharp minor 7, and A sharp minor 7, right? And then here at the end you get an inverted A sharp minor 7 and an A sharp dominant 7 chord, right? So the trick is actually, because we have a lot of space, because the D sharp minor 9th chord extends for 2 bars, we have a lot of space in which we can play licks. And that's kind of exactly what I tried to do with the guitar. So I'm gonna demo it with the guitar first so y'all can get an idea of what it sounds like. So that's what you can do with the space, and that's kind of exactly what songs like 7 Days by Craig David did, and You Remind Me by Usher. They practically extend that D sharp minor 9th chord for 2 bars, and after the first bar they just fill that other bar with a lick to keep it very interesting. So let's hear the full beat in context. Now what we got in front of us is another flip using the 6th degree. Basically we're going from the 1 to the 6th all the way down to the 4th, and we're landing on the 5th. So it goes E minor 7, it goes C major 7, it goes A minor 7, and it goes B minor 7. And it sounds a little bit like this. And this is actually a beat that y'all have heard before, because I made it in this video that you're seeing on screen right now. So go and check out the video if you're interested in how I turned that into this. But you know what? Sometimes it's entirely okay to just let a vanilla chord progression be a vanilla chord progression. And that's exactly what I did. So once again, in the key of F minor 7, C minor 7, A sharp minor 7. So it goes from 1 to 5 to 4 and back to the 5, and we're inverting this one down. Still unison, but still different enough to pique the interest of our listeners. Here we can see we actually did a little bit of variation. We opted for, what is this? Is this actually still? This is actually still in the same key. I'm just messing around. So we turned it into a dominant chord using our 3rd degree. That's Curious, or second degree actually. That's curious. Oh well. Coincidentally, this is also a beat that I made in a video. The video is right here if you're interested. And with that being said, I do have to admit that 145 is a chord progression that really lends itself for all kinds of smooth R&B beats, more in the Dolla kind of vibe, you know. So enjoy this beat, enjoy this demo. Alright, so beautiful folks, I hope y'all let me get this hair on the face. I hope y'all enjoyed watching me break down 5 different ways to turn 3 chords using a variation of 1 chord progression into all kinds of fire. And there's a lot more possibilities, but I'm gonna leave that up to y'all to explore. Y'all be easy. I hope to see y'all back for the next vids. However, the holidays are coming up, so if I won't see you, then I'm gonna see you when I see you. But y'all be easy, y'all be safe. Peace.